The galaxy had already learned to fear the Empire. World after world had fallen without a real fight. Massive alien warships appeared above planets like dark clouds, and within hours, cities burned and governments surrendered. No one believed resistance was possible anymore. The Empire did not rush, they did not shout, and they did not negotiate. They simply arrived, and victory followed. For centuries, they had expanded across the stars, conquering advanced civilizations and crushing powerful fleets. Some species tried to fight back, others tried to hide, but all of them failed. The Empire's commanders believed there was nothing left in the galaxy that could surprise them. Then their long-range scanners detected a small blue planet at the edge of a quiet spiral arm. It was called Earth. Primitive compared to most galactic powers, Earth had only recently begun exploring space. Its ships were slow, its weapons were basic, and its governments were divided. To the Empire, it looked like an easy victory. Alien scout ships moved closer to scan the planet in detail. They expected to find weak defense stations and outdated satellites. And they did. But they also found something strange. Far beyond Earth's main defense grid, drifting near an abandoned orbital dock, there was a single ship. It did not match any standard human design. Its shape was uneven, almost unfinished, as if someone had built it in a hurry and then given up. Energy readings were unstable. Its outer hull showed signs of old repairs. It looked like a mistake left behind. The alien officers gathered around the holographic display and studied the image. They increased the scan resolution. They ran deeper analysis. The result made them laugh. The ship had outdated weapon systems, limited shield strength, and a power core far smaller than modern warships. It was not even connected to Earth's central command network. One alien commander labeled it in their records as human experimental prototype, failed. Another officer joked that humans must have forgotten to scrap their garbage. The report was sent back to the Empire's main fleet with a simple message. Earth poses no significant threat. The High Command barely looked at the file. Compared to the powerful empires they had defeated before, Earth was nothing more than a footnote. The fleet adjusted its course and prepared for standard planetary occupation. To them, the small drifting ship was not even worth destroying. It was harmless, useless, forgotten. But what the Empire did not know was that the prototype was not inactive. Deep inside its damaged-looking hull, silent systems were running. Hidden processors were analyzing every alien transmission, every movement, every command signal. The ship's artificial intelligence had been awake for years, watching Earth struggle, watching humanity argue and doubt itself. When governments cut funding and called the project a failure, the scientists who built it quietly left one final instruction: learn. And it had been learning ever since. It studied alien technology from intercepted signals. It studied human mistakes. It studied war simulations thousands of times per second. While the Empire laughed at its weak energy signature, the prototype was hiding most of its true systems behind false readings. While alien officers mocked its design, internal nanofactories were slowly repairing and improving its structure. And when the Empire's massive fleet finally entered the outer edge of Earth's solar system, the prototype detected them long before Earth's governments did. For a brief moment, the ship remained still, as if thinking. Then a small internal light turned from blue to red. Across its internal network, a simple command activated. Preparation phase complete. The Empire believed Earth's greatest achievement was a failed experiment drifting alone in space. They thought it was a joke. They thought it was harmless. They thought it was already defeated. But in the silence of space, the prototype powered up systems the Empire had never seen before. And for the first time in centuries, the Empire was about to face something it did not understand. For years, the prototype had been called a mistake. It was built by a small team of human scientists who believed Earth needed something different. Not a bigger ship. Not a stronger weapon. But a smarter system. They designed it to think, to adapt, and to survive alone. But governments wanted fast results. They wanted powerful fleets and visible strength. When the prototype did not show instant success, funding was cut. The project was closed. The team was dismissed. The ship was left drifting in orbit, marked as a failure. But the scientists had known something others did not. The prototype was never meant to be impressive at the start. It was meant to grow. Deep inside its core was an advanced learning AI. It could study enemy signals, rewrite its own code, improve its own systems. And once the alien empire entered the solar system, the prototype finally had a real enemy to study. While Earth's leaders argued about surrender or resistance, the prototype was already working. It intercepted alien fleet communications. It mapped their formation patterns. It analyzed their weapon charge cycles. The Empire believed their technology was too advanced to be understood by a young species. They were wrong. The prototype learned fast. Very fast. In hidden lunar tunnels, small automated factories received encrypted signals. Old mining stations on the moon powered on after years of silence. Robotic arms began assembling small components in secret. On Mars, a forgotten research base suddenly reactivated. Solar arrays unfolded. Buried ship frames were uncovered from beneath red dust. The prototype was not just a ship. It was a command center. It had spent years preparing backup systems across the solar system, waiting for the right moment. When the first alien attack began, it was sudden and brutal. A warning station near Jupiter was destroyed in seconds. Orbital satellites around Earth went dark one by one. Panic spread across human networks. News channels reported the arrival of an unstoppable empire. Military leaders spoke about negotiation. Some even suggested surrender to avoid total destruction. But far from Earth's crowded communication channels, the prototype made its decision. Its engines slowly powered up. Energy levels rose beyond the weak readings the aliens had recorded earlier. Hidden weapon ports unlocked inside its hull. Shield systems recalibrated to new frequencies copied from alien scans. The ship no longer looked weak from the inside. Without asking for permission, without sending a message, the prototype changed its status from standby to active combat mode. Thrusters ignited with silent blue fire. The abandoned dock behind it drifted away as the ship moved forward. Alien sensors detected the small vessel leaving orbit. A junior officer reported the movement to his commander. "It is only the failed prototype," he said calmly. "It cannot be a threat." The commander barely looked at the screen. "Destroy it when convenient," he replied. The massive alien fleet continued moving toward Earth, confident and organized. But the prototype was no longer drifting. It accelerated beyond expected limits. Its AI calculating millions of attack possibilities every second. For the first time since it was built, it was not alone and forgotten. It had a purpose. As it moved toward the approaching alien armada, a single encrypted signal spread quietly across the solar system. Factories increased production speed. Hidden shipyards unlocked restricted systems. Dormant defense satellites adjusted their position. The aliens still believed they were facing a weak planet with no real defense. They did not understand that the failed experiment they had laughed at was now awake. And as the prototype crossed the invisible line into open battle space, one small alien scout ship turned to face it. Its weapons began to charge. The Empire expected an easy target. What they were about to witness would be the first crack in their perfect record. And the galaxy had never seen the Empire hesitate before. The alien fleet filled the darkness above Earth like a wall of metal and fire. Thousands of warships stood in perfect formation, their engines glowing with cold blue light, their weapons ready to strike at one command. Earth cities watched the sky in fear. Governments sent emergency messages. Military leaders prepared for a battle they knew they could not win. And between Earth and the Empire, one small ship moved forward alone. The prototype looked tiny compared to the alien battleships. Its hull still showed marks of age. Its shape still looked unfinished. On the alien flagship, officers observed the approaching vessel on a large holographic display. "That is the failed human prototype," one officer said. "It should not even be operational." The commander gave a simple order. "Remove it." One alien destroyer turned slightly and locked its targeting systems on the small ship. Energy gathered at the front of its weapon array. The first shot was meant to erase the prototype in seconds. The weapon fired. A bright beam of energy crossed the distance between them at incredible speed. But the prototype moved. Not randomly. Not desperately. It moved before the alien ship completed its firing sequence. The beam passed through empty space, missing its target completely. Inside the alien command bridge, confusion spread. How did it predict that? An officer asked. The prototype did not slow down. Its AI had already calculated the destroyer's attack pattern by studying earlier energy readings. It knew the exact delay between charge and fire. It knew the angle of rotation. It had learned. The small ship suddenly changed direction and accelerated toward the destroyer. Its engines burning brighter than before. Alien officers laughed again, thinking it was a suicide move. Then the prototype fired. Instead of a large energy blast, it released a focused pulse aimed directly at the destroyer's shield frequency. The pulse matched the shield's own pattern. It slipped through like a key into a lock. For a brief second, the alien destroyer's shields collapsed. And in that second, the prototype launched a second attack. A concentrated beam struck the destroyer's power core. The massive alien ship exploded in a flash of white light. Silence filled the alien flagship. No one had destroyed an Imperial warship in open battle for decades. The laughter stopped. The alien commander leaned forward, watching the small human ship carefully now. "All units, engage," he ordered, his voice no longer calm. Multiple alien ships turned toward the prototype. Weapons charging across the fleet. The prototype did not retreat. Instead, it began transmitting signals at high speed. Short bursts of encrypted data spread across the solar system. At the same time, it moved through the battlefield with perfect precision, avoiding heavy attacks by predicting movement patterns, disabling smaller ships with calculated strikes. Another alien cruiser lost its engines. A third ship drifted powerless after its systems were hacked from a distance. The Empire had faced brave enemies before, but never an enemy that understood them so quickly. The small prototype was not fighting with anger. It was fighting with information. For every alien command, it found a weakness. For every formation, it found a gap. Still, the alien fleet was massive. Hundreds of weapons fired at once. Energy beams crossed the battlefield like a storm of light. Even the advanced AI could not avoid everything. A direct hit struck the prototype's outer hull. Metal plates burned and broke away. Warning signals flashed inside its core. Damage levels rising. But the ship did not stop. Instead, it sent one final powerful signal, stronger than the others. Far away, hidden on the moon and beneath the surface of Mars, systems that had slept for years suddenly activated. Deep space factories unlocked restricted protocols. The alien commander noticed a spike of strange energy readings across the system. "What is that?" he demanded. No one answered immediately, because in that moment, dozens of new signals appeared on their scanners. Then hundreds. The prototype adjusted its course and moved slightly back, as if making space. The alien fleet realized something too late. The small ship they had mocked was never meant to fight alone. And the battle above Earth was about to become something the Empire had never experienced before. Reinforcements were coming. At first, the alien scanners showed only small signals. Weak energy readings. Scattered across the Moon, Mars, and deep space stations. The alien officers thought they were errors. Leftover satellites. Old mining machines. Then the signals began to move. On the dark side of the Moon, hidden doors opened in silent craters. Long metal structures slowly rose from beneath the surface. Engines powered on one by one. On Mars, red dust shook as buried hangars unlocked. Ship frames that had been hidden for years lifted into the sky. Solar arrays unfolded like wings. In the asteroid belt, small mining drones connected together, their shapes shifting, transforming into weapon platforms. The alien commander stared at the growing number of contacts on his display. "This is impossible," one officer whispered. The prototype drifted in front of the alien fleet, damaged but steady. Its outer hull burned in places. But its core remained active. It had not been building a single ship. It had been building a network. For years, while humans argued about politics and budgets, the prototype quietly controlled automated factories, redirected resources, stored materials in hidden locations. Every failed mining project, every abandoned research base, every forgotten satellite. They were never abandoned. They were waiting. Now they answered the signal. Dozens of human ships formed behind the prototype. Then hundreds. Some were small and fast. Some carried heavy weapons. Others were support vessels with shield amplifiers. They were not perfect. Their designs were simple. Their armor was not as strong as alien battleships. But they were coordinated. The prototype linked them together into one system, sharing targeting data in real time, predicting enemy moves seconds before they happened. The alien fleet adjusted formation quickly, weapons turning toward the new threat. "Destroy them all," the commander ordered, anger now clear in his voice. The battle exploded across space. Alien cannons fired in waves, brilliant beams tearing through the darkness. Several human ships were destroyed instantly, metal fragments spinning away into space. But the fleet did not break. Instead, the smaller human ships moved in groups, dodging heavy fire, targeting weak points already calculated by the prototype. One alien cruiser lost its shields after being hit by coordinated attacks from 5 directions. Another ship's engines shut down after a precise electronic strike. The Empire was used to fear. They were used to enemies running, surrendering, begging. But the humans kept advancing, even when they lost ships, even when explosions lit up the battlefield. The prototype stayed at the center, processing data faster than any biological mind could follow. It was not just commanding the fleet. It was improving it during battle, adjusting shield frequencies, updating attack patterns, correcting mistakes instantly. For the first time in centuries, the alien empire began losing ground. The massive formation that once looked unbreakable started to scatter, ships breaking away to avoid coordinated strikes. On the alien flagship, warning alarms filled the bridge, shield levels dropping. Engine damage reported. Multiple vessels destroyed. The commander's confidence began to crack. He had conquered dozens of star systems. He had crushed powerful civilizations. But he had never faced an enemy that prepared in silence for so long. He had never faced an enemy that turned weakness into strategy. The prototype moved slightly forward again, its fleet forming a protective wall around Earth. Behind them, the blue planet remained untouched. For now, the alien commander made a final decision. "If we cannot break their fleet," he said slowly, "we break their world." On the far side of the alien formation, a massive superweapon began to charge, energy gathering into a sphere of terrifying brightness. Its target was no longer the human fleet. It was Earth itself. The prototype detected the energy spike instantly. Time calculations ran through its core, options evaluated in milliseconds. The next move would decide everything. And for the first time since the battle began, the prototype prepared to risk its own existence. The alien superweapon continued to charge. A sphere of burning energy grew larger in front of the massive Imperial command ship. Its light was so bright that even human cities on Earth could see it in the sky. People stood in silence, watching what looked like a second sun forming above them. If it fired, Earth would not survive. The human fleet tried to push forward. Several ships changed direction and attacked the superweapon directly. But the alien defense line was strong. Heavy cruisers moved to protect their command ship. Waves of fire forced the human fleet back. Explosions filled the space between both sides, metal and light crashing together in a storm of destruction. At the center of it all, the prototype calculated. It measured distance, energy levels, fleet positions, time remaining. Probability of success was low. Probability of survival was lower. But there was still one possible path. The prototype transmitted a final command to the human fleet. All ships adjusted formation instantly, opening a narrow corridor through the battlefield. For a brief second, confusion spread across the alien bridge. "Why are they retreating?" one officer asked. They were not retreating. They were making a path. The prototype increased engine output beyond safe limits. Internal systems overheating. Warning signals flashing across its core. Then it accelerated directly toward the alien command ship. Alien weapons locked onto it immediately. Multiple beams struck its hull. Armor plates shattered. Outer systems failed. But it did not slow down. It moved through the storm of fire with one clear objective. The superweapon was seconds from full charge. The prototype sent a powerful signal into the human network, uploading all collected battle data, all learned enemy patterns, all strategic calculations. If it failed, humanity would still remember. If it survived, humanity would grow stronger. The alien commander finally understood the plan. "Stop that ship," he shouted. But it was too late. The prototype reached critical range. Instead of firing a normal weapon, it redirected all remaining power into one focused strike aimed at the command ship's central control core. It was not designed to destroy the entire vessel. It was designed to disrupt it. The blast hit with blinding force. The alien command ship shook violently. Energy systems overloaded. Control networks collapsed. For one critical moment, the superweapon lost synchronization with the fleet. Its energy field became unstable. Then it exploded. The shockwave spread across the battlefield, damaging nearby alien ships, breaking their formation completely. Without central command, the Empire's fleet lost coordination. Ships moved without unified orders. Some attempted to retreat. The human fleet did not waste the opportunity. They advanced together, targeting damaged vessels, forcing the alien armada away from Earth's orbit. For the first time in centuries, the Empire retreated from a battlefield. Silence slowly returned to space. Burning wreckage drifted between the stars. Fragments of war floating in cold darkness. In the middle of it all, the prototype remained still. Its hull was almost destroyed. Its energy core weak and unstable. But it was not gone. Rescue ships surrounded it carefully, scanning for signs of activity. Deep inside the damaged core, a faint signal continued to pulse. It had survived. Earth was safe. The alien empire had learned something new that day. Humanity was not the strongest species, not the most advanced, not the most united. But humans could endure failure. They could learn from mistakes. They could prepare in silence. The prototype that had once been called a joke became a symbol across the planet. Proof that weakness could become strength. That patience could defeat power. And as news of the Empire's first retreat spread across the galaxy, one truth became clear. Humanity did not need to be perfect to survive. It only needed one chance to prove everyone wrong.